Hello and all, welcome to this week's Football Talk podcast with me, Dave. I am your host on this week's episode. This is your chance to sit back, get yourself comfortable as we bring you up to date on this week's football that's happened in the new year, 2021. Josh, I'm excited. We're going to be talking news. I get my brain challenged in a quiz. We're going to review the weekend's football, again, with some results that we were just talking about offline that took us very much by surprise. We check for fun levels in sensible betting. No, we don't, because it's not sensible to bet if you're not, it's not something you want to bet on, is it? I couldn't get those words out. And I've sent Josh an unsolicited wiki pick for him to stare blankly at in the Wikifiles. And if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, drop us a like, subscribe to the channel on YouTube and Spotify so you don't miss out. We're here every Sunday at 10 AM, even on those really boring, pesky international breaks. Now, over to my co-host all the way in England, it's Josh. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thanks. Actually, I've done a Dave. I had a drink last night. I'm feeling a little bit hungover.
Hang on,
right.
wait, whoa. We can't be calling that have a Dave to have a drink.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to give me a reputation.
You drink the most of anyone I know. You're an alcoholic, Dave.
Cheers.
Yeah. What did you do New Year's Eve, Dave?
Played board games.
Uh-huh.
And drunk a lot of gin.
Is that your spirit of choice?
No, because I can't do adult gin. So I can't do gin and tonic. I have gin and Sprite because I don't like tonic water.
Because yesterday I had gin with 7-Up and a few other things. But yeah, my initial mix. Well, I had a leftover. I bought a bag. Those kind of cocktail bags of passion. Is like a puree, a passion fruit.
Oh
puree.
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. I was wondering where you were going with that.
I had some gin, 7-Up, and passion fruit. Oh, that's hard to say. Passion fruit puree.
passion fruit puree. Yeah, okay.
Oh, say that one, guys. That's tough to say. So, yeah, new year, new us. Any New Year's resolutions, Dave?
I'm going to walk more in Singapore because I haven't got out because when I used to go to work, Kate always walked the dog. And now that my work is at home and I'm only going in once a week, my New Year's resolution is to basically get off my big ass and go out and walk more around Singapore. So yeah, I'm going to go and do a bit more walking.
Nice.
Yeah, you?
Well, one of them's, as per my other podcast, golf. I'm going to get my handicap down to a manageable level. Maybe in the teens is what I'm hoping for. And also...
that's tough.
What, you think that's... yeah, absolutely. But sub 20 is what it's at. So that is the challenge. But then the other challenge will be push-ups. I need to be able to do more than 0 push-ups. I'd say is probably my aim. Yeah.
So what's your plan to do more? Like, are you just going to try and do one a day until you do one and then go like?
Well, no, I will be down. It all came in a discussion last night when I had a few drinks. It's like what's everybody doing for resolutions, and then that came up.
That sounds like so much like you panicked. Josh, what's your resolution? Press ups.
I know it's always been an area where I've been chastised for my lack of upper body strength.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that's hampered me for many a year. So it's like, well, let's just see if so I'm going to download an app. One of those, 0 to 100 push-ups. But I've downloaded them before, and typically they don't start on 0. It's like do as many as you can. If you hit 5, do this plan. What about if you hit 0?
What happens if you can't hit 1, but you need to hit 1?
Yeah.
And okay, good, nice. Yeah. Ross has said Ross is in, and his resolution was just to leave all social media. So he did, easy.
Nice.
I mean, bold. I don't know if I could live. I mean, social media is very toxic, but I don't think I could live without it because it is the quickest way to get football news.
Yeah, that's what. So I'm not on Instagram. Well, I am on Instagram and Facebook, but I don't. They're not installed on my phone, and so I can go on them, but I don't.
Yeah.
Twitter is there, and that's typically where I interact. But it's very bad interacting with any kind of big topic there.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's where I get kind of initial football news from, and lineups or scores, and details and stuff. And the other one I'm on is Reddit, but I'm not quite sure if that's social media because it's all anonymous rather than being. Well, Twitter can be somewhat anonymous, I suppose, but it's less toxic.
So, all right, that's a good tangent then, because you said you find your football news on Twitter. So, into the news, Josh. I mean, I'll start. Big news. Pochettino's no longer going to be Man United manager, is he, this season?
No, he's not. It'd be a strange turn of events. I mean, who needs it when you're in the title race now? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has led you up to the
two-horse race.
Top of the table. But yeah,
top of the table as well, in inverted commas. So
No, Dave's been saying how they're going to smash Liverpool in a few weeks. He's been like, "Oh yeah, we are the best."
do you know what?
So
I think we might. I think we might not smash them. I think we might beat them and then lose to Burnley with our actual game in hand.
yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
quite possible.
So
But yes, Pochettino in at Paris Saint-Germain. We obviously covered it a little bit last week. I'm just happy to see him go there. It's a good move for him. He gets to win some silverware. If he doesn't, he's obviously sacked.
yeah. Does it make you a PSG supporter, fan, follower now that Poch is there? Do you have a bit more
I
of a?
definitely will add a bit of in. I will have a little eye on it. I'm a Marseille man
Oh yeah.
in
Okay.
Liga. But yeah, I've never minded PSG. Yeah, they've always had like classy players. Obviously, a very new club in real world terms, but having years of Okocha and Ronaldinho and Nene, is it? Yeah, it was just they've always had quite fun players. So yeah, I don't
Choupo-Moting,
never mind it.
they just keep
Yeah,
coming. Yeah.
Choupo-Moting, yeah, absolutely.
So
But yeah, I would obviously keep an eye on Pochettino's career there because I'm intrigued whether he will make it or not.
yeah,
Not sure.
I think he will be quite successful. I feel like I assume they've employed him now so that he gets money in January to do something, like bring in some people he knows or do. So Dele Alli, I think is.
Well, if the papers have it, apparently Pochettino's scouting network is who have I managed before?
Yeah, well, yeah. So, but could it be a big money buy of Mane from Liverpool?
Do they need someone like that?
No, but it's PSG, isn't it?
Is that you completely fabricating that,
Yeah,
or is
100%.
has that been talked about?
I'm 100% fabricating that, but let's get it going.
Oh, okay.
Let's
All
get
right.
it going. So, I mean,
Yeah.
but do they need
I think
Dele
that
Alli? No, they don't. But that's been going around the houses for before even Poch was there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. What do you think for Champions League for PSG? Do you reckon he'll win the Champions League with PSG? Better squad than Spurs, and he got you to a
No,
final.
honestly, I'm a little bit scared for him. I know. I think it's always I've felt it myself. That kind of imposter syndrome when you get a new big job or something like that. I think he's a big job for him. Like
Yeah.
he grew Spurs into being a bigger job than it was previously. I don't know, and this is he's now into a massive club.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a smaller league, a farmers' league, but. But I don't know. There's big expectations. It's a big structure around it. Big expectations. It's different for him.
That's the thing. Yeah, it'll be very different because Espanyol was small in a big league. Southampton was small in a big league, and he probably made Southampton medium size in a big league. And then Spurs was arguably medium size, and he made them a big team in a big league. And now it's big team in a small league straight off the bat with everything on Europe. So, yeah, it'd be very interesting. We have got a quick question coming in, which I think we may have to cover in a different podcast. I feel like it should have a reasoning behind it. And it's in each of the main league countries, what are your teams? Spain, Holland, Germany, France and Italy. Should we cover that next week or international break?
We'll cover next week.
We'll make a note.
Yeah.
And we'll cover that in an international break because there's stories behind all of mine about why. So yeah, I like that idea. Good question.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, what have you got in the news then?
Celtic Rangers is why we're not going to cover it in our reviews, but Rangers are now after their win yesterday against Celtic. We have them 19 points clear. Obviously, played a few games more, but Stevie Gerrard is on a roll. It's 14 wins in a row, I think it is. They've conceded like 5. They're about halfway through the season now, so
Yeah.
it would be an emphatic loss of the title if Rangers weren't to get it from here.
Well, you mean it'd have to slip quite heavily?
Which don't let it slip,
Don't let it
boys.
slip. Will he? It's a weird
Will he?
question because do you think he'll just stay at Rangers until the Liverpool job becomes available? Because he could technically win a couple of titles at Rangers before Klopp retires or leaves Liverpool. Klopp leaves and then everyone goes, well, he's done it at Rangers, so obviously he's perfect for the job. He's better than Lampard because he's won a title. He's better than Solskjaer because he's won a title in Scotland and knows the players and he's brought players through. And yeah, what do you think happens with Gerrard?
Well, Rangers is quite good for him because obviously it is that winning mentality. There is obviously European football involved with it as well, which I don't think I think he could transition between to Scotland to Liverpool. I'd quite like to see him maybe do a bit of Premier League work beforehand. So, what kind of club do you think he could manage in the Premier League what job do you reckon he could get in the Premier League that wouldn't stop his chance of being a Liverpool manager? So like, if you can't
Yeah.
be, you wouldn't go to Man United, for example, but would be big enough that Liverpool would still be interested in that as a step up.
Potentially, if Bielsa left Leeds, maybe Leeds, because that's they I see Leeds as a sort of mid-table, lower half at this season, lower half sort of mid-table, 10th to 13th sort of club. So maybe Leeds. I would probably say Everton if it wasn't Everton, obviously.
Yeah, that would somewhat hamper his chances of getting a Liverpool job, I'd
I
say.
think maybe like Southampton-ish. I don't really know. That's the problem. It's a really hard question because I only see him managing Liverpool in the Premier League.
So you think he'll stay at Rangers for a little while longer and
I
a few years and try and step into Klopp's shoes?
Yeah, unless he's got some sort of agreement that says if he wins the league with Rangers, he can leave and be an assistant manager at Liverpool. I think his next
Oh, he
thing.
wouldn't. He wouldn't do that.
No,
He wouldn't go
I don't think he would
manager
do
to
that.
assistant.
But
Yeah.
I think if he's won he's probably going to win the title this year of Rangers. I think he'll stay at Rangers and try and win 3 titles in a row or 2 titles in a row, and then just step into Liverpool's management job.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how Klopp's got left because it's not normal now that you have a manager going for years and years and years. Obviously, Guardiola's sticking around for a few more years. Maybe 2,
Well,
3 years you'd have Klopp.
I mean, yeah, well, it's interesting you said that about Guardiola because he's come out yesterday, saying about early retirement.
Early
He was
retirement.
thinking about early
Yeah.
retirement, and this is actually a longer stint than he planned to do in management. He thought he would have another sabbatical before and then take a job and then retire early. So yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting because I don't know how long Klopp. He's won the Premier League, he's won the Champions League,
Yeah.
got the FA Cup to win pretty much, and that's about
Yeah, you
it.
have players you think like maybe Wijnaldum wanting a different change, and talk of Salah being unhappy. You can't keep it all going, all guns blazing, and keep that mentality going forever. So maybe want a new challenge, but
Yeah.
it's interesting because yeah, it's a bygone era of the kind of the Wengers and Fergusons. I mean, Pochettino was there for a long while, but I think Klopp joined just after Poch, so maybe only has a couple of years left. But yeah, I mean Celtic on the other hand, I still think Eddie Howe is the ready-made replacement for Neil Lennon
Yeah,
when he departs.
I think so
I
as
really
well.
wouldn't.
The only doubt I have is that it's very north. It's very, very north.
It is very
And
north. I mean,
Eddie Howe
yeah.
has never been more north than London, I think, in terms of football.
Oh, he managed Burnley, didn't he?
Oh, he did? Yeah, well,
failed and
How did that?
failed at Burnley.
How did that go? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, any other breaking news or important news you'd like to touch on before we move on?
No,
It's just
in-
there's a
in
lot of
terms of
football
break-
to discuss. So.
Yeah, in terms of breaking, I will cover it because there's a lot of players breaking COVID rules.
Oh, idiots! Yeah. Kyle Walker again.
Yeah,
Oh.
Lanzini, Lo Celso, Lamella, and Reguilon having a little party and posting on social media.
Yeah.
They should be off social media, or they shouldn't in the first place. Rumours of Mitrovic
It was
and Milivojevic.
Mitrovic and Milivojevic had a party with some Serbian friends, and they were caught playing football, and someone uploaded it. Football with a toilet
Yeah.
roll in a house, and someone uploaded
Yeah,
it to
and
Insta.
Fulham now obviously on the back of 2 postponed games, and Spurs have obviously their players. I mean, if you're going to do it, at least like buy some rapid tests, for example, guys. If you're
Yeah.
going to do it, because every single one of these has turned out to be, positive. Kyle Walker, Man City positive, Fulham positive, Spurs positive. It's like, I mean, are you unlucky or just really stupid as well?
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Really stupid, to answer your question. I know it wasn't a proper
Really
question,
stupid,
but
yeah.
really stupid.
Don't break COVID rules, people.
Exactly. And on that, we'll move to the quiz, Josh. Let's go give us a
Absolutely.
quiz.
Right. Ooh la 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 la. Ooh la 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 la. Ooh la 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 la. It's quizzing time. And this week's quiz is partnerships. So we have a list of 8 clubs, the season that this happened, and the goals that these strike partnerships
Okay.
contributed together that many goals. Do you understand the quiz, Dave?
I do. However, I have a question. When you say strike partnerships, it doesn't mean 2 strikers. It just means the 2 forward players that have combined.
It could strangely be a goalkeeper hoofing it to a centre back in the last minute, and that worked 12 times in that season. Bit unlikely, but
I mean, Big
yes,
Sam
it
has
just
managed a
means-
lot of teams in the Premier League.
Yes, it's Paul Robinson and Christopher Sam.
Yeah, yeah. All right, I think I've got this one. So, I mean, Blackburn 94, 95, 13 goals. It's got to be Sutton and Shearer, SAS.
It is Shearer and Sutton.
Shearer. Who says Shearer and Sutton? It's Sutton and Shearer, isn't it?
I think it's Shearer and Sutton.
I'd put the higher goal scorer at the end. Like if you're doing numbers in a sentence, you start on the lowest and put the biggest at the end. So you go like your numbers are 2, 5, and 7. You wouldn't go your numbers are 7, 5, and 2.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm right. Cheers. Spurs. Son and Kane, 2021, 13 goals. Son and Kane.
It's weird because Son's got more goals.
Has he? See, I didn't know that. I was just assuming that Kane had more goals. So
I think as soon as you called it out, like he's gonna mess this right up.
of course I am. Yeah, but okay. Oh, Bournemouth.
But that was correct. Yes.
Thank you. Bournemouth.
After 16 games, they've got that. After 16 games, they got 13. I wonder if they'll break this record. I hope they do.
What is the record? Is the record
13.
that 13 there?
Yeah, they're joint record holders.
Yeah, they will. They will definitely break it then, yeah. They will break it. Bournemouth, 18-19. Oh, who now play for Newcastle? It's Ryan Fraser and Callum Wilson.
Ryan Fraser what's happened to Ryan Fraser? He's not set the world like there, is
Impact sub, isn't he? Impact sub.
Is that what he's doing?
So,
what's his impact?
Just coming on as a sub.
His impact is those heavy legs on the turf.
Yeah, exactly. So, QPR.
You are going to be doing well to get, any more of these, to be honest, Dave. But
QPR 94, 95, 11. I'm going to say Les Ferdinand and Kevin Gallen.
Oh my God.
Is it actually?
It is.
Boom. Come on. Blackburn 95, 96. Well, when did... Is it Shearer?
Shearer is one of them, yeah.
Shearer and... Now, I can't remember his name, but is he Norwegian?
No.
Is he English?
You think of Eggleston?
I was thinking of Egglestonstad, yeah. We're like that, me and Josh.
I think he's English, yes. He may be of another... He's British, for sure.
Shearer and...
Let me have a look. I think he's done a little bit. I only really know him from his punditry work. Maybe even a manager of somewhere.
Oh, my word. I was going to say...
He's manager, and he was head of football at Al Shahab.
Oh, brilliant. I was going to say Matt Jansen, but... No, they're two different eras. Who is it? I don't know that one.
Mike Newell.
Oh, Mike Newell.
What do you know Mike Newell for?
What do I know him for? Yeah. Managing Luton.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. So, and Burton Albion.
No.
No. Okay. No, but yeah, Mike Newell also used to play for Liverpool, didn't he? Mike Newell. Very early on.
No, he started. No, he had his youth career at Liverpool, but never actually appeared for him.
Okay. No. Okay, talking of Liverpool, number 6, Liverpool, 95-96 season, 10 goals. Robbie Fowler.
Robbie Fowler is one of them, yes.
And is it too late for Ian Rush?
It's not Ian Rush.
Michael Owen?
No, Michael Owen came on the scene after Robbie Fowler got his knee injury and 96 onwards.
Who did he play front with?
He's quite outspoken now and has got a bad rep.
Steve McManaman. He's outspoken on commentary and has a bad reputation on commentary. So
this guy has a worse private life reputation.
Oh.
You named a Norwegian forward. This one is this player is linked to a Swedish woman.
Stan Collymore.
Stan Collymore.
Oh my word! Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Number 7, Arsenal, 98 and 99, 10 goals between them. Henry and Bergkamp.
You've got Bergkamp.
Oh. It's not back. Oh. Who was their striker in 98, 99? Oh my word. I'm trying to picture what kit they're in. They're away.
I think it'd be a JVC number.
Was it JVC? Is it Ian Wright?
No, it's not Ian Wright. I think it's a one-season wonder.
Oh my God.
For Arsenal.
For Arsenal, yeah. Francis Jeffers? No.
No. I'll give it. So he then moved straight away to Real. I think they bought him from PSG, was it?
Oh,
Or then went
Anelka.
to Real Madrid. Anelka,
Oh
yeah.
my word. God, that surprises me. That, yeah. Obviously, I got it wrong. That really surprises me. Number 8, Wolves, 19 and 20. Oh, 1999. 2019 and 2020, 10 goals. I mean, it's got to be Raul Jimenez and. Oh, I was gonna go straight off the bat and go Ruben Neves. It's not Raul Jimenez and Diego Jota.
No.
João
You get half a
Moutinho.
point there. No, he's still there. This guy still turning in performances. Should have got an assist last night. If
Adama Traore.
Adama Traore,
Hell.
yes.
That was good.
So you got full marks on the first 4, but then you didn't. You failed to name Newell, Collymore, Anelka, and Traore. Well, out of those 4, who would you pick as your 2? Those ones you didn't manage to name: Newell, Collymore, Anelka, Traore. Who would you have your pick?
I mean, I'd probably go Anelka. Maybe Anelka and Bergkamp. I think out of those 4 I got wrong, it's probably the best.
With a mere 10 goals.
Yeah, but
nothing on Kane and Son, is it?
No, it's not. But that wasn't one of the options.
You're not surprised to see. Not see York and Cole up there.
Yeah, I was just thinking that York and Cole. I mean, Beckham must have supplied Van Nistelrooy with so many goals.
Even like Spurs, like Berbatov and Keane, had a good. I mean, you can see here that the era of rotation football came in, though, can't you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Like Spurs obviously are bleeding Kane and Son dry.
Yeah.
Wolves love to bleed players dry, but then they're the only players since 98-99. Oh, sorry, Bournemouth as well. They were heavily relied on Fraser and Wilson.
It's incredible.
Since then, they were forward to get rotated, and yeah, it's
I want to do a quick round of applause here, Josh, because obviously I maximised the quiz so that I can't see the chat in case people put answers in. And Ross has nailed it all. And this is his guesses, right? Sutton and Shearer, Son and Kane, Wilson and Fraser, Ferdinand Gallen, Shearer and Mike Newell, Collymore Fowler, Bergkamp and Anelka, in brackets, I bet Dave says Ian Wright, and then Jimenez and Traore. That's incredible. Well played. Well played. Round of applause in the live chat there. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. So, well done.
Very good.
Well done. So we'll move on then, Josh.
For a pub quiz.
Let's go and review this weekend's football. And I'm, as much as I would like to lead us off, I'm going to hand over to you for the derby names of the games.
All right, let's start with the David Moyes derby.
Oh, he's not gone a player. Is this the first manager derby we've had? No, it can't
I think I've had it before. I think I've had it before. What would you go for if you've got a player that springs to mind? Everton, West Ham?
No.
Tony Cottee?
Tony Cottee, yeah, he would have done both.
David Unsworth?
I'm not sure about playing for West Ham, David Unsworth.
No,
I was going to say Shamak.
Shamak? Did he play for Everton?
That's what I'm just checking.
I've got my little spreadsheet here, Dave, so let me just...
What spreadsheet's this?
List of players from... This is how I filter
Oh,
out
okay.
each
No, he
week.
didn't play for Everton. He played for Crystal Palace and Cardiff is where I remember him playing in blue.
Oh, David Unsworth is one.
There you go.
We've got... obviously, we've got... Enna Valencia. Remember Enna Valencia? And went between the two.
Yeah.
Mike Newell.
Mr. Newell again.
Nicholas Alexanderson, Nikica Jelavic, Richard Wright, Slaven Bilic, Tony Cottee, Thomas Hitzelsberger, Don Hutchinson.
Loads of them.
Yeah.
Loads of them.
A few. But yeah, I mean, that's probably more exciting than the game because the game was bleak.
Yeah, it wasn't brilliant. I mean...
I just want to have a shout out to Slavia Prague, to be honest with you.
What, for Thomas Susek?
Thomas Susek and Kufau at right back. They're coming straight in from Slavia Prague.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? Because Susek, he really didn't start well in the Premier League. He didn't really play for the first 3 months of them signing him last season on loan. And then they made it permanent. Then he ended the season well by scoring loads of headers, basically being Marouane Fellaini in this new Moyes era.
He is Marouane Fellaini without a hair.
And they've signed him and he's carried it on and it's incredible. It's just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I mean, David Moyes does love a utility player, like a special team player. It wouldn't surprise me if he's going to go in for James Ward-Prowse to be the special. Like James Ward-Prowse whipping it into Souček and Antonio. It's just like, I
If it
mean,
works,
they play. It works, yeah, but they're kind of like the unsignable players. Like your clubs are looking and going, right, yeah, we can get some of that. It's like, no, it doesn't actually work for anyone else. These are specific pieces of my jigsaw.
yeah,
They cannot fit in yours. It's
yeah,
And then I mentioned Antonio. Antonio obviously came back into the fray, replacing Haller, and it's immediately the difference you can see. Like just all action, winning headers, holding the ball up. It's a bit embarrassing, really.
yeah, it is. I mean,
Haller.
and we're talking of embarrassing. Everton were pretty embarrassing. Like they're just
I mean, we've said it time and time again. You got Allen out, Tom Davies in. I don't know what Tom Davies is good at.
no.
I mean, this is going to be somewhat harsher on Harry Winks, but he's the kind of Everton's Harry Winks. I think a lot of clubs have it. They're kind of their midfielder who comes through the ranks and is getting game time, homegrown. It's like they're just not good enough to start in that side. Oh, you obviously got young players like Jesse Lingard, who's
Yeah.
good at Man United.
Young players,
Um,
Jesse Lingard. Yeah, all right. But
For some reason, you're going to trigger the extension because
yes,
it seems like you're just afraid of losing anyone on free.
Yeah.
You're never going to use them like Phil Jones.
we're triggering the extension and then immediately going to send him on loan to West Ham. Apparently, I think it's West Ham that he's going to on loan. So
It's such a fall from grace. Jesse Lingard actually had a decent World Cup with England. He was actually he had really good energy and
well,
was,
he had 18 months,
kind
didn't
of
he? Where he scored for fun under Mourinho as a midfielder. He scored for fun. He got something like 11 goals in the season, and then that World Cup where we played Panama, was it? And we beat him like 8-0
yes,
and he
we played
scored in that. He
Panama,
scored a
yeah.
great goal in that. And then that World Cup he played really well. And then it just and there were. Then he released his fragrance and clothing line, and it all went downhill. So
Oh, it's correlation or causation. We never know, Dave. It might
exactly.
just.
So
But yeah. But yeah, I mentioned Wings, Tom Davies. Tom Davies has got nothing that he's bad at, but nothing really that he's good at. He's just nah.
your face.
He has that one highlight reel against Man City where he did that little bit of skill and scored the kind of dinked goal, was it? Other than that, I just don't. Yeah, he's a massive step down from Allen, and it was just a really poor. I mean, Everton had a good. Were they joint top or second for a little bit? A good December. They go back to this. It's just really got to be disheartening for Everton fans to see this performance rear its ugly head.
Yeah, I'd agree because they also would have pinned that as a game. We're winning that. They would have pinned that as a game they're going to win.
Oh, definitely. I doubt any West Ham fan thought this is going to be 3 points here. This is a surprising result, but it compressed the table even more. It's either
Yeah.
a side kind of in around mid-table beating a side at the top. It's keeping that table compression, and well, it will move on to unless we have anything else to mention on Everton West Ham.
Will Susek be the new wherever Moyes goes next? He's going to take Susek with him, like Fellaini to
You're
United.
assuming that Moyes is going to leave West Ham. He's not going to build a dynasty there.
Oh, well, you said no one builds dynasties anymore. He'll get them. He'll get them next year. They'll get to like 8th and flirting with a European place, and the Dildo brothers will go, "Nah, we got a better manager in now. Cheers. See you later." So.
Maybe.
If they're still there, they may have been forced out by then. But anyway,
Right.
no, nothing
Yeah.
else really from me on that game. It was pretty
Okay.
rubbish.
All
Yeah.
right.
So
Yeah, it was a bleak game. But the other game that night on Friday night was the Dwight York derby,
yes, it was.
and this form the crux of the headline. Our headline today that it's a 2-horse title race. United are very much in there, which is really strange to see because everybody's been mocking Ole relentlessly and thinking you've been performing badly because you had an indifferent Champions League run which ended sooner than you'd like. I mean, there's a little bit of league form, which I mean, you got smashed by Spurs earlier in the season. I think a few other dodgy results.
Yeah.
But it's actually you're doing really well.
I still think it's down to more of how bonkers this season is rather than
How
necessarily.
you take advantage of it.
Yeah, but I think we are taking advantage of it. And there was always a thought in the back of my head. I've always been concerned with our up and down form and in and out roller coaster sort of ability to play. But there has always been in the back of my head that, when he first got the job, we did go on that 7-game unbeaten run, starting with Paris and then going all the way through, and that got us into 4th, and then we dropped off a little bit. I still think I would be surprised if we finish top 3. And I'm loving the fact we're in a title race at the moment. I do enjoy that. But I think it's such a bonkers season. I think you need to wait until you're like 25 games in. And then...
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go again. It's like a slinky. It just compresses,
Yeah.
form, your high form, because there's going to be so much movement at this point in the season. We're not even halfway through yet. With a good run of form, you speak about the teams performing well, and then they fade back out of it. So you're in high form at the moment. But
I said like...
you got lucky. I mean, it's not a penalty.
It is a penalty.
No way on earth.
If you watch it from a...
If you watch it for the 10 millionth time at a certain angle, you might see a little bit of a touch.
He's
running alongside him.
He touches his foot onto his own foot.
Pogba does, yeah.
The defender touches Pogba's ankle, so it makes his foot do that, which hits his falling ankle. If it wasn't a penalty,
VAR... It's not a challenge. They're running alongside each other.
VAR would have said it's not a penalty. If it wasn't a penalty.
Yeah, if it wasn't corrupt. Absolute joke that was, David Nichols. Absolute joke.
VAR is not corrupt. It's just not implemented very well.
Well, it got it wrong there. That is they just run alongside each other, and it just so happened to be that Pogba brushed his foot against his leg, tripped himself up, and fell over. I mean, that is a mistake. The other mistake is, and I'll go on again about Tyrone Mings, he's a thug.
Yeah.
He's an absolute thug, is Tyrone Mings, slamming the old elbow into Pogba here.
Yeah.
And, missed that one as well.
Yeah, okay. It was a penalty, but we won. 2-1.
You did win.
Did you know what? This is like the second only game I've missed, of the league game I've missed since I've moved here. Or this season.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was knackered after New Year's extravaganzas, so I couldn't stay up and watch this one at 4 in the morning. But I was doing a Dave, so I was knackered. But yeah, so I missed this game, so I've had to watch the highlights back, and it's it's a win. It's a win, and we're joint top of the league. But
I mean, I'd say a shout out for Harry Maguire. I think he's actually been pretty good.
Yeah,
recent weeks.
I think whether it was a penalty or not, I think Pogba looked like he played really well in this game. Like he looked like he turned it on. Might be. Let's say it's coincidence that the January transfer window opened on the same day he turned in his best performance of the season. Bruno,
he's not getting a January sale, is he?
No.
He's never going to be a January transfer unless someone. I mean, you'd have to have someone lined up to replace, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Who would you replace? Just a quick one, then. Just at the top of your head, you sell Pogba, you buy in a like-for-like replacement, or a midfielder.
I don't think we'd buy a like-for-like replacement. I think Van der Beek is the replacement there, eyeing up for Pogba, and then I think they would use that money to go and buy someone like Jack Grealish, British, entertaining, attacking player who can help the burden off Fernandes to rotate him a bit. And Van der Beek comes in as the Pogba sort of replacement to do a bit more of hard work than what Pogba's done, and then Grealish comes in to help out Fernandes or help out on the wings. And like,
so you think that you could see the Pogba money being spent on Jack Grealish?
I could see the Pogba money being spent on Jack Grealish.
Do you reckon the Man United fan base would like that?
Yes, I think if they had done it
also in the seasons he's had, actually, like if it was last season, they'd have been like, what? But I think
exactly what I was going to say.
Put himself up into another bracket now. Okay. Yeah. De Gea looks like he's back a little bit. I mean, I think the Henderson competition's helped him out, I'd say.
I agree. I think that has helped him out. I don't think De Gea would probably be as worried as he was when Henderson first said we were keeping... Well, when we said we were first going to keep Henderson, because Dean Henderson's come in and made a few little errors here and there.
Yeah.
But I do think it's probably more in training is that De Gea now has someone where he'll be like, oh my God, that is actually someone who's threatening my position rather than Romero.
You forget, it's easy to forget that they spend all week with these guys and they'll be seeing, and the manager will be seeing that, and you need to be producing it. And it's not the fact that he might be, in different games, because goalkeepers are a funny breed. Because I remember listening to ex-players talk, and they talk about goalkeepers, if they're out for play, they talk about goalkeepers not really being footballers. They talk about them as again like this special team that was off on their own.
Peter Crouch mentions it a lot, doesn't he, on his podcast?
Peter Crouch does, and it's funny to think that, because as an outsider you just kind of look at it all as a footballer, but they are a completely different skill set.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like David De Gea. He's a very good goalkeeper, but I've enjoyed the demise.
I think what was good about the result, just about the game yesterday, from a United fan point of view, I think what was good about it is that Bruno, yes, he scored the penalty, but he had an off day, and we still had enough about us to go and get the win. Pogba did step up and we played well, and like you say, Maguire looked solid. Eric Bailly looked incredible from the highlights that I've seen. Like, his thing, he's just got to stay fit.
Last minute block.
He's just got to stay fit, Eric Bailly. That's all he's got to do. So
he's not going to.
No, but
No, Ollie Watkins is going a long time without scoring now. It's the luck. You can rue your luck, and then it starts becoming. You'll get into your head, and you'll be then
Snatching at
you'll
chances and
snatching your
yeah,
chances. Yeah, but yeah, he needs a goal soon. I'd say.
Probably agree with you there.
Maybe just the help of having Ross Barkley back will help as well as a little bit more different chances created and things like that. Or
Yeah,
um,
definitely,
yeah.
definitely.
Right, we'll move on then to the Danny Rose derby, shall we?
Yes. Well, I'll let you
A
tell.
man who's set to have his contract terminated.
Is he actually?
Rumor has it. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him being released on a free. There's no point keeping him.
True. So,
Yeah.
well, I'll let you talk about the game. Yeah, go for it.
It's it surprised me, to be honest with you. But we started pretty poorly. A lot of chances created.
Yeah. It it did it surprise me? No, I don't think so.
No,
Because
no, the win, us winning.
yeah, I don't think that surprised me because Leeds were always going to fall into Mourinho's trap. This is the perfect
Yeah,
team for
yeah.
Mourinho to play against. A team
Well,
that don't care. So
so Leeds are aside, and it's Bielsa, and I've seen it with Spurs with Pochettino, and to an extent Guardiola at Man City or Guardiola throughout. They have a plan A,
yeah,
and that plan A, they are sticking to that plan A. And so if you beat plan A, you've beaten them, and that's the way they play. And people have described it as Leeds being brave. It's not brave. It's just their way of playing, and they're so brittle at the back. I mean, obviously they've got a lot of defenders out injured, a lot of centre backs. So Luke Ayling was playing at centre back. It's just, I just watch it and I just cringe, thinking, why are they taking these risks at the back? But it's just the way that the system they're playing. I played it for 3 years, and Bielsa will not, has not done in his career so far. He's not changing for anybody. They're going to keep playing. And to be honest, you've got to give Leeds credit because they're playing with a championship side. They've spatters of purchases, mainly in attacking
yeah.
areas where Rodrigo and Rafinha, but it's a championship back four, and they're what 11th, 12th in the league, and have kept a number of clean sheets, but obviously have conceded heavily in matches. But
Are,
yeah, I mean, I think Spurs kind of were
are you worried?
just kind of seeing.
Just to step away from the game a little bit and carry on talking about Leeds. Are you worried that they could be a Sheffield United Mark II, or are we just saying no because it's Bielsa in charge? Because obviously Sheffield United came up with a Championship sort of League One esque team, and it was their tactics that people weren't the underlapping centre backs and whatever you had and all that. The movement that Sheffield United had. One season later, everybody's figured them out. Chris Wilder's still trying to do the same thing with a 4-4-2 and the same sort of tactics, and it's clearly not working. Are we saying that won't happen because it's Bielsa?
I don't think it'll happen because I think there's much more quality in the league side.
Okay.
There's a much more quality. I mean, I don't know if you put Bamford in that Sheffield United side, does he score any more
No.
goals? I don't know. I don't think he does, but I think they just create better quality chances. I mean, we'll get on to Sheffield United after this
Yeah.
when we talk about Steve Cabot Derby, but Leeds, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just a bit. I think it's just probably a little bit better than the fans were expecting, maybe overall. But for a Spurs fan, yeah, we kind of we felt them out a little bit, and we had a game plan for them. We were just taking the ball up part of the pitch and turning it over and getting through, and Melian mistakes maybe. With kind of the first and third goals.
Yeah.
I mean, the third goal's getting roofed anyway by Dyer on the follow up, so I don't know why anyone's focusing on how far it is over the goal line. He's literally smashed it in.
Yeah.
There's literally no point even looking at that. I mean, yes, it was close, but shout out for me in this match. Højbjerg again. Højbjerg is just it's mops up. Yeah, obviously helped with the Song goal dispossessing. He's just a
I
very
mean,
very good player. And
I
just
will admit this is probably the first Tottenham game other than the Man United game I think I've watched in full because it was on at a reasonable time here in Singapore. So, and I will admit it was much more obvious to see what Højbjerg does when you see the whole game. I still
yeah.
don't think he's this masterful midfielder that everyone's going on about and saying he's
No,
doing.
I can't see him growing with the side. I think he's always going to be there as a really useful option, but
Yeah,
he's just so consistent. He doesn't get injured. Like well, fingers crossed, doesn't get injured. He just plays throughout, and he's such an intelligent guy. And yeah, I mean, he's been a great signing. On the other hand, Matt Doherty has not been a great signing. I mean, yes, we have um, kind of taken out away his main asset by him being a kind of right wing back,
yeah, true.
but and so he's shown none of that kind of that. It was off the ball movement, getting forward was where he. I remember when we did the live stream United match. I was like, oh, Doherty would have a field day here and end up Aurier scoring.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of football he would relish. But he just doesn't get that, and he's not that good defensively as a right back. And yeah, I mean, from handballs to penalties to sending offs, it's been a tough 6 months for him, I'd say.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, like, so what we have made it a bit tongue in cheek with the title. Obviously, the title of the podcast today for a 2-horse race for the title. I mean, you've got to count yourselves in it, haven't you? I mean, 16 games.
I'll be interested to see where it's all at. I mean, I just think how many points Spurs have dropped in the last minute of games is just disgusting.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you got West Ham, Newcastle, Liverpool, Wolves. 4 games where must have dropped 6-8 points, something like that. I can't remember, I don't have the maths in my head, but that is huge. And we could easily be clear leaders right now. Obviously, there's other games where we've got lucky and stuff, but there's real. I mean, that is like minutes away from, sometimes seconds away from more points.
Yeah. And one of them was against Liverpool, which would have put us top of the league. So
yeah. I've been intrigued to see. We've got Sheffield United, Fulham, and Villa to complete our 19 matches. So potentially, kind of say 2 wins and a draw there, 7 points. That's put us on like 2 points per game. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I just want to be up there in the reckoning. Really, I think it's gonna be a long second half of the season.
Yeah, nice. You've got to give a shout out to Son Heung-min as well. 100th goal for Spurs, isn't it?
100th goal, and obviously the partnerships, 13 goals. We've got Kane, the fastest person to reach 10 goals and 10 assists. First time he's ever done it. Yeah, it's pretty tasty. And
very nice.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the Steve Cabot derby, Palace Sheffield United.
Oh,
Sheffield United, man alive! It's just.
Oh, I was going to start the other way around, and just be like,
you're going to go Eze.
Oh, I love him.
I love Eze. I loved him when he was at QPR. I wanted Spurs to sign him. He's just got that swagger. I mean, he gets around that. I don't know who was defending for Sheffield United, but he just gets around him just with a little swing of the hip.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful.
It's amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I think you're right, though. I do think we need to focus on Sheffield United here, not Palace and not Eze. So it's bleak, isn't it? It's bleak.
I mean, if there's anything to look forward to, it's the fact that Sheffield United next game at home to Derby's nemesis is Newcastle United.
Ooh.
Newcastle Derby managed to get 4 points from Newcastle in their lowest point season. Do we think Newcastle are going to be as generous this year?
No. It's got 0-0 draw written all over it. They'll get a point.
Do you know what? I'll tell you what's got a 0-0 draw written all over it when Spurs play Sheffield United, because Aaron Ramsdale's last clean sheet was against Spurs for Bournemouth last season. It's going to happen, Dave. Mark my words.
Okay, well that'll be your sensible bet of that week then. So.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you what a sensible bet was. I saw the other day that Atletico Madrid versus Getafe. It's been something like 19 games or something ridiculous since Getafe scored against Atletico Madrid.
Really? Oh my God!
It's been huge. Getafe under 0.5 goals against Atletico Madrid. Next time that rocks up. Sheffield United currently on 2 points. Derby had 7 points at this stage last season. Their record season. Sheffield United aren't as bad as Derby. Derby were an absolute just calamitous. They were just awful. Sheffield United's goal difference isn't that bad. They're reasonably tight, but they're so toothless that you can just nullify them so easily. As soon as Palace went a goal up, I was like, that's just game over, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying about their goal difference not being too bad, but the problem is that they're still losing those games. Yeah, because they're toothless. It's all 1-0s, 2-1s. Though their goal difference is minus 20 or 21 or something now, and they've played 19 games, which just shows you they've lost a lot of games by 1 or 2 goals. And it stinks of Bournemouth and Eddie Howe of not being able to spend money well. I mean, the money Ryan Brewster, that's a lot of money for a Championship striker.
Very similar to Burnley to Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Bournemouth buying Dominic Solanke for big money. They've literally got Bournemouth's goalkeeper.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So.
I mean, the signings made, and obviously Chris Wilder bringing them up from League One to Premier League. I think it's just all points to they're sticking with Wilder. They're signing young English players: Ramsdale, Bogle, Brewster. I knew they'd overachieved, and and the hope would be to maintain another season. But I think they'd keep all those players in the Championship.
Yeah, I
And
think so. Yeah. Will Sheffield United get double figures, points wise?
I think the funny thing is, like West Brom are what on like 6 points or something like that.
8, I think.
8 points, and it's really not like it can change so quickly. They just need that first win, soon.
Yeah.
As soon as they get that, you never know. Like, football's a strange thing. I mean, mentality can change. It's hard to call what they could do because I really can't see them just getting 4 or 5 points. I can't see that, but yeah,
You just don't know. You just don't know.
Just don't.
So,
No.
but yeah. Yeah, unbelievable. Well done, Crystal Palace. I mean, Roy Hodgson continues to work wonders, do well. It is a bit defensive, but he sprinkles in these little players like Zaha, Eze, even to an extent Jeffrey Schlupp. I know he got injured,
I
but
was about to say, I like Jeffrey Schlupp. He's a good player.
yeah,
And Andros Townsend done all right. Yeah, and you got in the middle. You've always had the kind of solid midfielders, and it works well. And I think his contract's up at the end of the season, is it? It's
yeah,
going to be an interesting.
yeah,
I remember calling them out as getting relegated in the next couple of years, didn't I?
yeah. Well, that's
Yeah,
the
I
thing.
would be intrigued to see what
They've
happens when he
got
goes.
Schlupp's contract's up. Zaha's contract's up at the end of the season, I think.
Zaha this
Is it
season
Zaha
can't
this,
be.
or is it next season? It might be next season. Benteke's up at the end of the season, and he's now become a bit more like involved.
He's showing signs, isn't
Yeah,
he?
so it'll be interesting. It'll be very, very interesting to see what Crystal Palace do. But yeah, well done to them. Up to 14th with that, I think. So
Nice.
yeah, I mean, they're in 14th. They're 11 points ahead of the relegation spots. That's crazy.
Oh my goodness, they do have a lot of contracts out in.
Yeah, I thought they
They
did.
have an absurd amount of contracts out in 2021.
So
Contracts expiring. This is on Transfer Market in 2021. Nathaniel Klein, Gary Cahill, James McArthur, Wayne Hennessy, Mamadou Sakho, Christian Benteke, Patrick Van Arnholt, Andros Townsend, Scott Dan, Vincent Guaita, Martin Kelly, Joel Ward, Connor Wickham, Max Meyer, Jeffrey Schlupp. That's absurd.
yeah, there's a lot of people. So
That's a lot of
there's
people.
a lot of people.
You'd have thought you'd start as soon as they kind of, I don't know, got Premier League. I mean, a lot of those are old players.
Yeah.
So you've got Gary Cahill, 35, James McArthur, 33, Wayne Hennessy, 33, Stephen Henderson, 32, Scott Dan, 33, Vincent Guaita, 33. Whether maybe they're waiting for a different manager to. I don't know. That's a lot of players
Yeah.
going though. That just points to me saying relegation, doesn't it? But
Bloody hell.
all right,
Yeah.
we'll move on to another surprise result this weekend: the Chris Iwelumo derby, Brighton v Wolves. Wow! If you told either of these sets of fans that they're going to score 3 goals in this game, they'd have gone, "Come on, we won it."
yeah.
Not that it's going to be a draw.
Yeah, absolutely crazy game, really, wasn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
the goal from Connolly was well taken. The header from Saiz was
Yeah.
well taken. The
Lovely header again after scoring against Spurs the other week.
Yeah.
Header.
Maupai's, and who got the first penalty? Wolves got the first penalty. Then Neves scored
Neves,
his penalty, and it was definite penalty. Great run from Troy around the lumbering Dan Burn is the only way to describe it.
Damn, no, it's the own goal penalty.
Yeah.
I mean, he was on for a real stinker. He's such a weird player, isn't he, Dan?
He's
Burn?
not a left back. Why?
Well, obviously not.
Why is he being played at left back all the time? Just buy a left back. Call someone up from
Yeah,
the
they
youth
really
team.
do need to. I mean, Ben White was playing left back. I got a good play. I've got a good right back. I got good centre. Like White, Dunk, and Lamptey is a really good 3 of a back 4.
Yeah, even with Burn as a backup, a centre back, it's decent.
Yeah. And you've still got Webster as a backup as well.
Yeah.
You've got who's the guy they signed from Ajax as well?
The younger guy, yeah. I can't remember his name, but yeah. I know.
Joel Veltman
Yeah,
for like
Veltman.
£1 million, I guess. So yeah, just they need to get a kind of Lamptey up to at left back, and it will change that. If they have someone bombing on from that left hand side, it will change the face. We obviously tried Trossard at a wing back, but yeah, I mean and also just. I mean, I know Mope had a decent game and won the penalty, scored the penalty, write the theme tune, sing the theme tune. If that's where they need to invest, left back and up front. Even goalkeeper's a bit of a dodgy one because Matt Ryan's had a shocker.
So I was going to ask, what's happened to Matt Ryan? Why is
Yeah, he was just playing awfully. They were conceding well above their expected goals, and is my kind of metric rather than having to watch
yeah
Brighton
okay
games. But yeah, it
yeah
was not
because
working
well
for
he's
him. So
gone
is it
from
Sanchez? I think?
being dropped to now just being he's free to go like completely. They're cutting ties completely with him.
Yeah, we've got
I tell you who could do with Matt
Sanchez.
Ryan. Sheffield United. He'll do better than Ramsdale.
Yes, so yeah,
He'll do better than Aaron Ramsdale.
yeah, because Aaron Ramsdale's absolutely atrocious. 5
Exactly.
clean sheets in 54 games, whatever it is. It's
Exactly. Yeah.
atrocious.
So, but yeah,
Um,
a very good game. 3-3. Very nicely done.
Very good game. My biggest shout out of this match, and you might not have experienced it, but Efan Ekoku had an absolutely storming match here
Okay.
as co-commentator. He was really, really impressive, and yeah, it was just he offered insight. He wasn't afraid to speak his mind. He'd say like we're talking about Ben White and like his versatility is great. The commentator was saying like Efan was like, well, he needs to decide because it's going to hamper him later on. You can't be that good a talented player and he wasn't afraid to say it. Yeah, I
Nice.
really enjoyed his co-commentary. It
Nice.
was
No, I
nice.
had Tony Cottee on co-commentary. Probably not the same. Yeah,
Oh,
probably not the same standard. So
no.
yeah, good fun. But yeah, a very. I mean, I feel like we should have given this game a bit more time, but it was bonkers. It was
Yeah, I mean,
great.
I think this is very much I mean, I don't think Wolves have got a pretty poor record against Brighton overall,
Yeah.
but Brighton still they're not performing great, are they? I mean, what are they in the league table? They're going to be down there 17th. Yeah, I mean, they're a few points adrift, but of the bottom three, but it's still they need to kick on. They need to have a little good run of form, and I'm not sure where that's going to come
This is
from. I
a weird question. Is this Graham Potter's first full season? It's his first season, isn't it? Or is it his
no,
18
he was there all
months?
last season. They sacked Chris Hughton during the summer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So,
It's his second season, yeah.
yeah.
And I mean, it's still a side in transition. Obviously, he's having to get rid of old Deadwood, and it's similar to what someone who joins Palace is going to have to do. But yeah, Wolves scoring goals now, but still
Giving him up at the other
missing.
end. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Okay.
Um,
Right. This final match is Nwankwo Kanu derby, West Brom versus Arsenal,
oh, I thought you might have gone Kieran Gibbs. More recent.
or Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain.
No. What?
Mistaken identity.
Okay. Got ya. I thought you were actually telling me Oxlade-Chamberlain played for West Brom. He's making a joke.
No, it was a joke. I called this out as Arsenal going to falter here on Twitter.
That's what I said
I was
as
like,
well.
Big Sam. It was snowing. I was like, God, you might as well just go home now, Arsenal. Turns out, I mean, Kieran Tierney just loves the cold, doesn't he? He's from Scotland, so he just loves the snow.
What boggled my mind about this game is that this snowing with snow on the pitch. Okay, they did the lines and it wasn't very thick, but snow on the pitch makes it harder to pass the football. Right? It should make it harder for you to do the passing game that you want to do. So why is Arsenal's best passing game come in the bloody snow? It doesn't make
Yeah,
sense. It doesn't make
yeah. I
sense.
mean, it was like second goal was Arsenal of old. Saka's goal
Yeah.
was just was beautiful. Arsenal of old. It was really, really impressive. And Smith Rowe. I mean, every time another youngster plays for Arsenal, I just still get a bit more confused why they signed Willian. It's just.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was looking at their squad today. Arsenal got a number of players out of contract, so obviously, thankfully for them, they've got Ozil out of contract, Mustafi, Pastor, well, I'm going to call him Socrates, David Luiz out of contract. That's three of their kind of centre backs that have been pretty prominent over the last few years.
Yeah.
Obviously, signed Gabriel and Saliba, has Saliba even played?
No, he's been, and he didn't get registered in their Europa League squad either, Saliba.
But yeah, they've got a lot of talented young attackers, splattered with some kind of. I mean, Lacazette showed his importance still here, don't he?
Yeah, he did actually. I mean, it was a very good performance from Arsenal. Incredibly
Really
good
nice,
performance.
yeah.
And is two questions, and don't answer until you've heard both. Who's regretting the decision more, West Brom or Big Sam? Is West Brom regretting sacking Bilic after he drew with Man City more than Big Sam is actually regretting thinking he could keep West Brom up?
I think Big Sam's regretting it.
Yeah.
I think Big Sam. He talks about never being relegated from Premier League, but obviously chooses to ignore the fact that he got relegated with Notts County earlier in his managerial career. So he's just focusing on Premier League. It wouldn't surprise me if Allardyce does a little Harry Redknapp and goes for a knee op and gets himself a little get out of jail free card
Is
in relegation.
amazing that you said that. So I've got a little Discord group for my YouTube channel, and we chat some football in there. And someone posted, I can see Allardyce jumping out for personal reasons before, so he doesn't have a relegation on his CV.
Yeah. He's, conceded what, 5 against Leeds, was it?
Yeah.
4 against Arsenal here. Obviously, got the draw at Anfield, which he looks more surprising by the day. But I think we're at the end point now of these old managers being of any use. I mean, Pardew's not had a job in England for ages. Hughes hasn't had a job in England for ages. We've got Allardyce coming back in, who's just shocking. Harry Redknapp's obviously well out the scene. I think we're at the end of these managers having a useful life in the Premier League.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree.
Frank Lampard's done it, isn't it? Frank Lampard's Chelsea losing to Arsenal, and they've turned it around. They've had a really good little run. It's I don't mind seeing it.
No, I mean they're in 11th, but they're what's that? 6 points off third.
It's so compressed. Well, from third down to 14th is 7 points. But third down to 12th is 6 points. It's crazy,
ridiculous.
Obviously, there's a few games. It's that messy period where you get games in hand and stuff. Like Man City have somehow only played 14, and obviously they play later on.
Yeah.
We'll touch on that now. We've got obviously today's games. We have the Burnley-Fulham match postponed because of Dave's love child Mitro has ruined it for everybody. But we do have Newcastle versus Leicester. Thoughts, David?
I think Leicester are going to have just enough. And I say just enough in terms of to break Newcastle down. I don't think it's going to be a close game. I think Leicester are going to dominate it. But I think
we'll
just enough to score.
COVID's going to play a part here because are we going to have I say Maxman back because he's obviously missed. He's had kind of long COVID impact for him.
Yeah.
They've really missed him. I'm not sure he is back.
Well, the only news that's coming through in terms of team news that I've got in front of me is that Newcastle will monitor Paul Dummett, who's been struggling with illness, and I assume that's monitoring to make sure he's not going to be playing anywhere near the first 11.
Yeah.
So.
Oh no, you're still feeling it, Paul. Don't you worry, mate. Don't you rush yourself
back,
mate.
Don't you rush yourself back. But yeah, it'll be interesting because Callum Wilson's obviously back. I think 1 or 2-0 Leicester. I think it'll be relatively simple.
As long as it's Vardy up front rather than our man Iheanacho, it's he's just nowhere near. We've spoken about it. Vardy is required. All right, then we have the big match. I'd say we have Chelsea v Man City. Are we going to add more woes to Chelsea here?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Again, I think it'll be relatively close. Maybe like a 2-1 or something like that. But I think Man City will win it. I think I still think Chelsea at the back won't be able to handle Man City going forward.
Yeah, do we have Aguero back in the offing? That's the question. I think we do. Yeah, Aguero being back is an absolute deal breaker for them. Really, it's whether he's back up and running, but it just has that fear he will have him in the other side. Oh, is Edison missing?
I don't know because they've got it's Kyle Walker, Gabriel Jesus are the only ones that have been named as being away due to COVID stuff. And then they've got some others that are unnamed, but it could be youth players, I guess. But
I don't know. I'm going with players who associate with each other. So I'm going Jesus, Brazilian, Edison, Brazilian.
Yeah.
Is how I link up. You look at the Spurs Spanish-speaking party there.
So maybe Cancelo, Portuguese,
Ruben Dias.
Oh, that would be a huge. That's bloody hell. That's Walker, Cancelo, Diaz, and Edison all out. That would be maybe Chelsea will win it.
I mean, we literally made this up right here, now. But
so I think if those people aren't all missing and it's only Kyle Walker, Gabriel Jesus, and the people we know about, and maybe Edison, then I think Man City will still nick it. I think they'll still win it. So.
Yeah, I think Man City will win as well, and that will be.
Oh, Mendy. Sorry, Ross has said he did say it earlier. Yeah, the latest one is Mendy, left back, Benjamin Mendy.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but
no, that would mean Chelsea stay on 26 points and they'll compress it further as a side. Man City obviously games in hand. They would take them almost top, wouldn't it? Just to them into third position if they won both those.
That's true. Yeah, it would. Bloody hell.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Excellent stuff. That's this week's football. So let's move on. We'll crack on because there was no betting, as I said earlier. So let's move on to I got a Wikifile. Here comes a Wikifile. I got a Wikifile for you. Hey, and I've sent it to Josh this week. So say what you see, and if you see it, say it.
Okay, so we have a. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we started in 1983. Before we were born, Dave. 1983 to 1990, Dundee United, 131 appearances, 26 goals. So I'm thinking kind of goal scoring midfielder. So a Scottish goal scoring midfielder is where my initial thoughts are at. 1990 to 93, Coventry City moves down into the Midlands, 100 appearances, 28 goals. Then we have 6 years at Blackburn. It's a decent stint at the club. So 144 appearances, 46 goals. His main appearances, and you'd have thought there would have provided a lot of Premier League appearances to get the Kana rule out the way there, and also the ride-out rule.
Yes.
99 to 2001, moves to Newcastle, 39 appearances, 4 goals. Goals are drying up a little, going from 1 in 3 to 1 in 10. There's a year at Preston North End, keeping his career going, 5 appearances, 1 goal, and it's really petering out now. Sheffield Wednesday and Huddersfield Town, also in 2002, 3 appearances for Sheffield Wednesday, 7 appearances for Huddersfield Town. So, career stretching from 1983 to 2002, probably the kind of the 90s in the Premier League from 93 to maybe 2000s, but 429 appearances overall, 105 goals. Blackburn, Newcastle, Coventry in the top tier maybe. Scottish attacking midfielder, Dave. Am I kind of on the right lines there?
Scottish is correct. I would say I remember him a bit more of an out-and-out striker or right winger, I think I'd say. So not an attacking midfielder, but he probably could have been classed as an attacking midfielder, but I wouldn't have said so. He was in the Premier League when was he in the Premier League? He was the Premier League for 3 of those teams. So Coventry, Blackburn and Newcastle was all Premier League.
The name has sprung to mind, and I'm not quite sure. Is this Kevin Gallagher?
It is Kevin Gallagher, yeah. It is Kevin Gallagher, spot on. What gave it away? Just the Blackburn to Newcastle?
No, it was more it kind of, I was thinking Scottish forwards who didn't really score that many goals, and he came to England, but for a French side, he was a kind of like somewhat of a Giroud of his day.
Yeah.
A defensive forward, and I don't really have much memory of Kevin Gallagher, to be honest with you.
No, I
looked very bland.
Yeah.
If I had to.
I don't really have too much around. I mean, we always dip into their personal life, and it's very football related, Josh. So,
Lovely.
Yeah, he is the grandson of late Celtic forward Patsy Gallagher. His uncles Willie and Tommy and his cousin Brian are also professional footballers, and the Gallaghers are also related to another footballing branch of the family, the Divers, John Diver and his son of the same name, all who played for Celtic. So a very footballing Celtic orientated family line.
But never. I mean, only stayed in Scotland for a little bit. Only never actually played for
And he
Celtic himself.
never played for Celtic. Yeah. So, but he's now a Scottish football pundit that I'm sure you can see if you ever accidentally tune into Scottish football on Sky. So
I'd normally turn it over immediately, so I wouldn't make that mistake, Dave.
Yeah, exactly. So, do you want to guess at his international stats? He made his debut for Scotland 2 years after we were born, by the way.
I'd say he'd probably played a fair amount. He's a Premier League 40 appearances, and was he 40 appearances, 10 goals?
Oh, you're not far off. 53 appearances, 9 goals. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Who was he vying with? Was it Ali McCoist's era, wasn't it, I suppose?
It would have been the back of the Ali McCoist era, yeah. Because Ali McCoist was 96, wasn't he? He was at Euro 96, Ali McCoist. Yeah. So, yeah, it would have been around Ali McCoist era, yeah. So, excellent stuff. Yeah. Excellent stuff. Well, that's us pretty much done, unless you've got any other business.
Nothing from
Nothing from
me.
me. So that brings us to the end of this week's podcast. Thank you for listening. And if you've been with us live on YouTube, thank you for your questions and your comments. It's been absolutely wonderful. Congratulations to Ross, who got 100% for everything on the podcast, the Wikifile and the quiz. Absolutely brilliant. If you want to get hold of us before next week's show, find us on Twitter at Football Talk. But remember,
There's no A in
no
football.
A in football. So see you next week and goodbye for now.